Hi everybody, Brenda with Scrap-Mart.com here today. I'm going to do a short demonstration using the Boss Cut machine with QuicKutz dies. This is pretty cut and dry. There's a few little tricks with the Boss Cut that you need to know about. First off, there's 3 mats. One has an M on it, which means those are for the metal dies. Some of the original Boss Cutting dies were metal, just like the QuicKutz, meaning that they look just like this. Then there's also the P mat. The P stands for picture. Most of your new dies that you buy that are Boss Cut all have a picture on the outside. We don't have any of those with QuicKutz, so you won't be using that. And then the third mat has an S on it that is for other dies such as Sizzix or Cuttlebug, and we don't need that one. So what I'm using today is the M mat, and I'm going to place that in my machine so it slides. Now, there is 2 notches on these, and if you have a Boss Cut, you know that. The first one is where you center what you want to cut. The second one is how far you push it into the machine. Okay, first off, this is just a regular 2x2 die. A little bit different with the Boss Cutting machine and your QuicKutz. You're putting your paper down, then the die down, and then you're pushing it into the machine to the notch, and then pulling the handle all the way down. All 2x2 dies will cut in the Boss Cut machine, and they cut perfectly. What I'm using here today is the Studio Skinny Mini. Perfect. So that one, you know, cuts. Now, some of the QuicKutz dies came in bars like this one, and on this one there's 3 cuts, and this one is Studio Classic. So what I'm going to do, say I want to cut the P. I'm going to put my paper down, like so. Then I'm going to center this P on my notch, push it into the next notch, pull down the handle, and it's going to cut just the P. And as you can see, it cuts perfect. If I wanted to do the middle one, the Q, I would center the Q with the notch, push it into the next notch, pull down the handle, and it's cut just the Q that way. So that is the alphabet bars that QuicKutz sells. Then some of the cookie cutter dies will also cut. This one here happens to be Spotlight font, and with that one you're going to do the same thing. Put your paper down, leave the alphabet cut side down, push it into the notch, and as you can see, it cuts, and it cuts all the inside. Cuts as well, cuts perfect. Then regular cookie cutter dies. Now this one happens to be part of the USA collection. That one will cut too. Paper first, cut side of the die down, push it in, and as you can see, you have the Liberty Bell there on the mat. There's the Liberty Bell cut. Rule of thumb is, if it is less than 3 inches wide, and that's what the cutting mat here is, if it will fit into it, it will cut it. It may take you to move it a couple times, but it will cut it. Now, this is the cookie cutter flowers. Not all of the cookie cutters will fit in the machine The biggest ones will not, but generally that would be the only one that you couldn't use. And you can layer these just like you do in the Revolution tool. Let's do this the correct way. I'm going to put down paper first, then the dies. We're going to push it in. And see, not only did I get that center one to cut, but I also have a ring. So you can use the cookie cutter shapes as well. You just can't use the biggest one because it will not go into the machine. It's a little bit too wide. So there's that. And then finally, this is one of the embossing folders. I'm going to put my paper in, close the folder. Now I'm going to center it here, push it in, pull down just to resistance. You don't want, it doesn't take much. And I'm going to push this one back out the other side. But it embosses beautifully. That's the QuicKutz in the Boss Cutting Die Machine. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you again soon. Bye everybody.